It's stressful. It's a lot of work. Yeah, so we have our app, which is an SaaS product.
I feel like nowadays we most of the tools that we find out there, which are many and there are more and more every day.
And so far, we have more than 15,000 marketers on our platform.
We manage all this ecosystem.
In the beginning, most of the companies are saying, what can I do on my website to come out better on the AI search? And so,
Do we have any visibility on how those leads are coming through? Any campaigns?
and where is my competition? Where is Mercedes? Where is Tesla?
Hello, everyone. Today I have another super special guest. I think one of the biggest names in 2025. Klaus, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for the Otterly team to allow you some time to be here. How are you doing today?
Yeah, now I got nervous when you had this introduction. So, so thanks a lot, Eduardo. Yeah, it's great to be here and to talk to you. Yeah. So
How does it feel to hear that? I mean, you guys have grown so much in the past 12 months. I feel like it's a dream of any founder, right? To see such a success, but obviously behind that there is so much hard work.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, yes, I'm really happy and it's a great experience. I mean, I'm a long serial founder, so I'm in the Martech industry since 25 years. My first company, I didn't found it in a garage back then. It was a thing, but I founded it at university, and since then, we built really cool companies, but they were always hard to grow, and it was really a lot of time to invest to kind of basically start from scratch. And now, since we started Otterly, we
Mm.
also are on a wave, let's call it that way, and the wave can push you a lot upwards, and that's really an interesting feeling and experience, which I appreciate. It's stressful, it's a lot of work, so some days are not below or are 14 hours and more, but on the other hand, it's also great to see. We talked once about it, and I got recently a message from a partner, and they sent me a picture of a German magazine, and there was one of my tools that I provided for Geo, for generative engines optimization, and it was there in the biggest magazine, in IT magazine in Germany, and I was like, oh, what? That's amazing. So
Is that
this is how it feels. It's really
is that
nice.
is that one of the tools you built as you built Otterly.ai?
Yeah, so we have our app, which
Mhm.
is an SaaS product, but on the other hand, we also love to share free stuff, and we build a lot of free geo tools on our website,
Hmm.
where we on the one hand test stuff, and we also share some stuff for free, because we think currently the market is developing and it's very new and very innovative, and it's more about sharing stuff. We don't want to hide and have patents and anything. I want to share and learn from others, and whenever I share, I also get something shared and I learn from them. So we have a lot of stuff there, and this is one of the tools that not only got on many kind of workshop beamers, but also on the biggest magazine in Germany.
That's
And
amazing. Congratulations. Well, let's first start explaining what Otterly.ai does so people know and have some context.
yeah, thanks, Eduardo. You know, the thing about all these AI search industries, it's so exciting and there is so much passion that sometimes we lose ourselves and jump directly
Yeah,
into.
no worries. I mean, we can go all over the place. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try to ask all the possible questions, but it's good. Everything you're saying, it's good to know. I mean, like, I feel like nowadays we most of the tools that we find out there, which are many and there are more and more every day,
yeah,
they just give you like a paywall. You have to pay, get a subscription. It's good that you guys do all the stuff, and especially what you said before, wanting to learn from others. Telling them exactly how you guys are doing it, getting some feedback. I think that might be one of the reasons why you are where you are. So super useful to know. But yeah, let's hear about Otterly. Like, what does it do? Why
yes,
do I need it?
perfect, thanks. So yeah, Otterly AI is actually an AI search monitoring and optimization platform. So what does this mean? Like, probably everyone has seen so far or even experienced on their own that more and more customers and ourselves are using ChatGPT and others, also the new tools from Google like Google AI mode, etc., to look for products and services. And what that also brings with it is like that the SEO approaches that we learned over the past 20 years, they are changing now. There are different web contents that are relevant. The AI is behaving differently. Brands are showing up in a different like order. So Otterly helps you to monitor your brand. Am I visible on the AI responses of ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and so on? And when we see, and also, of course, where's my competition? So am I above them or not? And potentially, if I'm not above them, I want to improve. So we also help you to optimize with our SaaS solution, which is super exciting, also very fast paced. And so far, we have more than 15,000 marketers on our platform. So that's also really, really great to have also so many interactions and learning so much. Yeah. So that's where we are right now. We're an Austrian-based startup. So the founders, we have three founders here. And yeah, we started actually, I mean, I could say officially we were founded in April this year, so it's crazy how fast things move. Of course, we started a little bit earlier than that, but it's, around 12 to 15 months from now when we started. So it's yeah, been a great journey so far.
I've got so many questions coming from here, but before that, I wanted to highlight one thing. One of the features that I presume you guys have, and I think it's something that I see a lot of value, is understanding where my competition is appearing, right? And where I'm not appearing.
Yes.
That I can address that in order for the LLM models to give me more visibility. Is that something along the lines of what exactly I can do with the tool to implement into my site?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
What you do is I'm always explaining it as the three steps of the life cycle of AI search monitoring and optimization. The first, actually, it starts with defining what are potential questions that your potential customers, prospects, and customers are asking the AI that are connected to the topics that your company is around. Like in SEO, we would have said keyword research, So you are searching for if you are, let's say, running, or if you're providing running shoes, or maybe we find another example. If you have electric cars, yeah, you're asking, okay, I want to buy an electric car for a family of four with a dog. Which is the best um, electric car in Austria? So these are questions that you define. Then Otterly helps you on finding the right questions.
Mm.
Then next step is you put, and Otterly puts it basically for you on a daily base on various AI search engines. So we are monitoring the most important ones where customers are. And then we are monitoring exactly what you said. Where is your brand appearing in the answer? So if I'm BMW, is my brand showing up on this question about electric vehicles? And where in the answer? Is it on the number one position, or is it in the lowest position? And where is my competition? Where is Mercedes? Where is Tesla? Where is um, Honda? Whatever. Yeah. And then you can immediately see where are you ranking, how well are you doing in this new era of AI search. So this is basically what we do. And then last but not least, step number three, which is for many agencies and SEO people, and now they call themselves or they
Yes.
moving geos. Yes, exactly. Thanks. They want to know what can I do to improve, because most of the time you're not where you want to be. So that is where what Otterly helps
Amazing.
marketers, SEO people, and brand managers.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, like, all these names are popping up now. I mean, Gio sounds to me like a villain or something, like some sort of superhero, uh,
Yeah.
which is exactly what we need. I mean, we have Otterly, which is helping us have more visibility to understand how we are actually being positioned online. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see all these names popping up. All right, so let's go back a few months, Klaus. How did this become a thing? Where did you get the idea from?
You know, I have, like, for everyone who just hears me but not sees me, I have already some gray hair. And when you ask me about the past, the most horrible thing happens. I start really at the beginning.
No.
Basically, I started my journey 25 years ago at the university. And then I found it there by luck. I found some people I liked, and we founded our first company. And we started it from scratch. We learned everything. There was no funding. There was nothing like a startup. We just built a real business. And while I did this company, it was a content management provider. Also, Google came out of nowhere. Yeah. So basically, I was there when there was no Google. So I also learned, and I basically, when I started my career, also Google came out of it. So we always had, as we were working, most of the time, my companies were working in the Martech industry. So we were somewhere near SEO to a certain extent. So it was always interesting for me. Now, fast forward, I had some other companies. One of them got even acquired by Atlassian, which was also high tech. And then the last one before Otterly was in the user feedback space, but it was also most of the leads came through SEO and organic traffic. So when this company also got acquired and I left, I thought about where will AI have the biggest impact? And I'm pretty sure AI will change our whole society. Yeah.
Mm,
So but I was thought, okay, it will start with marketing, sales, and customer support. And as let's say my passion lies somewhere in marketing, near sales, I was thinking where could be the biggest impact. And with the founders I'm now working together, Thomas, who is our CEO and CMO, and Joseph, who is the CPO, CTO, and I'm in the middle somewhere, marketing, sales. We thought about where will be the impact, and we immediately knew that something on search has to change. Actually, when I'm really honest, in the beginning, I didn't have ChatGPT on my table. Like I was not like it was not obvious. We looked at Google all the time and we thought about how will Google change, and it will change with AI. But then we added also ChatGPT because it just out of, let's say, not fun, but we thought maybe there is something about around it. And nowadays, most customers are asking us about ChatGPT, which is
mm.
also kind of the interesting change that is happening in the market. Yeah.
From your previous companies, by the way, congratulations. Like being acquired by Atlassian is not a small thing.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it's quite a big company. You were mainly organic. You were mainly trying to grow organically at the time, but now you see the change happening in the AI space and how that can actually affect our organic positioning. And that's when you start looking into a solution that can help companies actually start ranking in all those new. When was the first client that you acquired? Do you remember?
I mean, the first real client was mid of beginning of January.
January. And how did that happen? How did you find him?
Yeah, okay. I have to say nothing happens out of pure luck. Yeah, I'm most of the time, or let's say I don't know if it translates well, but in Austria we have a saying where I say it's the luck of the ones who put effort in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we did is actually we set our, like, we created a good positioning for Otterly first, yeah, and we tried
Mm.
to be. I think everything started actually before January when we had the first conversation with someone, and we said we need an article on TechCrunch, yeah, and then
Mm.
TechCrunch featured us because we reached out and asked them and talked to them, and they were so interested that they published a first article. This article, I think, helped us to the first 1,000 users. Yeah.
Amazing.
Um, so I think that positioning is actually what I suggest to every founder to start with. Yeah, because kind of also went also in the wrong direction of building something first. Because you have the idea, you want to build something, you build it, and then you go out, and then suddenly the market says no, and then
Mm,
the
mm, mm.
frustration comes. Where I believe that if you are starting kind of the positioning to write about the topics, to kind of be present in these areas, is a better way, and then build something after conversations, learning from users, getting better their pain, what they are looking for, and then building something is, I think, the better way, which, I have done it multiple times in the wrong way. But I think this time we kind of got it quite right. Also the timing, but that's luck. That's really luck. We have this first TechCrunch. This was our positioning start, first 1,000 users. This is where I think we really started, and we always doubled down on that. Went on product hunt, being very active there, and then continuing and funny. And then sometimes, this helps us even today, these first articles where we were the first ones on the market with a few others, and everyone who kind of kept and pushed on this positioning is also top of mind today. There are so many competitors coming out, but they have the biggest problem. They are not top of mind.
Mm.
And even Gardner, so this is where I'm a little bit proud of. Gardner 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, time is passing. I have no idea about timing anymore. Gardner, I hope you know
Yeah.
them, the big
Yeah.
consultancy. They
Yeah.
sent us a message and said, "Hey, you are awarded as cool vendor,
Oh,
the only one in the AI market space." And I'm like, "Wow,
that is a
done.
huge
I
one.
I can leave.
I
Done."
can I can leave now. I was waiting for you guys.
Yes.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I have some questions that pop up when we talk about positioning. How did you? Maybe this is a very specific, subtle question sometimes. How do you actually come up with that positioning? Do you get help from users to understand exactly what the market needs? Do you build something initially and then go into TechCrunch to validate with the first 1,000? What was the approach here?
Yeah, I could give you a very nice sounding, like super smart answer. The reality is that, for example, in our case, Thomas, our founder, has a very good feeling for how to kind of, phrase that. And he talked to a lot of customers upfront or potential customers. So I would say yes, that was the first customers research that was important, but then it's also about his like very good experience and skill sets to kind of also write that down, define it, give us the ideas. I'm more, sales marketing guy, lead gen, so I trusted him, and it was a good perspective that he did. So customer research and then phrasing and carving out what your positioning is. It might change over time, so
Mm.
it will never stay the same, but have a very good foundation, because then everyone will kind of also repeat that and help you to shape it. And for today, if we're talking about AI, it's very funny because I'm often talking about positioning for AI,
Mm.
which is a term that I came up for when we are talking about like our brand, for example, on Wikipedia. It's a very important platform to be on Wikipedia because AI takes the definition that you use there, and this is what they use also to position your brand. And that will be super important in the future. Where is my brand position? However, having said that, I once read a book from April Dunford. I don't know
Mhm.
if you know it,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
about, I can recommend it, highly recommend it. And she has a process about how to do positioning that would be the more structured one. The one thing that I still recollect from there is you have to still, if you even if you're very innovative, stay in a drawer. If you
Uh,
think about your cupboard, stay in a drawer where people know where to put you. So if you socks, then they know where to put it. If
yeah, yeah,
you're under trousers, they know where to put it. If you are a mixture of t-shirt and trousers and socks in the same time, they're always like, I don't know where to put you. That's so complicated. I put you away. So this
yeah.
is where what I learned. You have still people with the innovative topic of AI search. You still have to make it so clear that they can easily put you in a drawer. Otherwise, it is very hard for them to kind of continue and make sense of your brand. I don't know. I hope that makes sense what I'm
Yeah,
saying. But
I love the analogy. And I completely agree. It's not about building something that like meets all the needs and all the problems. It's solving a very specific issue so that people think of you when they have the problem, right?
exactly,
I never heard
exactly.
of that analogy. I love it. What is the book name?
I think it's just called positioning, but April Dunford. Yeah, I once heard her at a conference in Dublin, and she was super great there. And then I found out that she has a book, and since then I'm often revisiting this book.
That's really nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Klaus, because I read a post, I think it was from you a few days ago, that said that many people continue optimizing their website only and articles
Mhm.
while they should be actually trying to optimize their presence across the web. And that's where you mentioned Wikipedia, your articles on the website. You mentioned about um, forums, Reddit,
Mhm.
discussions. Is this something that Otterly is also doing?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are
Yes,
you trying to approach it? How are you trying to do that?
it's a very good point. So I'm when I'm talking about my three steps process, I'm actually I'm kind of dimming down everything to what are the three steps? Because
Okay.
I cannot remember four steps. I'm always only remembering three steps. So I always came up with a three-step process. And this is actually also what we defined for Autoly. We have one for how the general approach is for AI visibility monitoring, which is the research on the prompts, which I
Mhm.
mentioned before. Then you're monitoring and you get the data where your brand is, where your competition is. And the last step is optimization. Now, when we dive into the optimization, which you mentioned, Eduardo, I have also these three steps, so I can remember it. The first step is we Autely helps you to identify if actually your web assets can be crawled by AI search crawlers.
Okay.
It sounds so obvious, but it actually happened to us. Our website was blocked because our hosting company thought that costs us so much that all these ChatGPT crawlers are coming, so we blocked them without telling us.
Mhm.
And we just realized via Otterly that suddenly our contents were not showing up anymore in the answers. So
Mm.
yeah, we changed that. This is the first step that we help. The second is actually what you mentioned. What websites, what types of contents that are different to what you learned from SEO are relevant to bring up my brand in the answers in the question in the prompts that I mentioned, like which of these contents are important for me. And last but not least, the third step is what can I optimize on my own website. Now, in the beginning, most of the companies are saying, what can I do on my website to come out better on the AI search end? So yes, that's an important step, but it's actually only the third step. And the second step is for me the most important one, to look holistically in the market and see where am I on Wikipedia? Where am I also on Reddit? Reddit is used a lot for training data, but also in the web search results that AI uses. AI uses currently web results to get up-to-date answers. And another one is digital PR. We are doing a lot of research and experiments. We're working with a company, Press Ranger, together, where we are sending at least 2 to 4 press releases per month. And then we see how they are used in AI to help us, also our brand, to show up on top. And you can also see which companies are posting around, like what are the best AI search monitoring tools. And then we also we see in our own software if we are mentioned or not. And if we're not mentioned, we could reach out, and ask them to be included. It's a little bit what you had in the past on backlinks.
Yeah.
It's now brand mentions. And the same is also, is my competition writing good articles, which are highly used? And maybe I can learn something from my own content marketing. Yeah. So yes, we're doing that. We're categorizing it. We're helping you to identify your potential optimization opportunities. And then you can rank
Amazing.
better on ChatGPT, etc.
That's amazing. I totally agree that PR is becoming such a big thing, and that we should be getting signals from all over the place. I think it's something that's changing a lot from what back then when we were just trying to be on the very top of Google, which you mentioned was the backlink era. Um, but now a question pops in my mind, and especially for small businesses who have no resources, how can they manage all this ecosystem? Like, I don't have to just optimize my website, but I need now to be on LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, on Reddit,
Mhm.
I need to be doing PR. What is your recommended approach to be able to address all of this in a sustainable, progressive way?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the million-dollar question
Yeah.
where to focus on. And it goes a little bit like, how we approach digital marketing right now. I mean, you also don't have the capacities and resources to address
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So I think you have to just pick.
Mm.
And we are also picking and we are focusing for a certain period of time on a certain area. And then, we continue and go on next when we see that we are increasing and we see them, for example, more of the citations from press releases are coming, then we know, okay, we're now good at that part, and then we move on. So there is not a fixed answer to that. I think it's still, what 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 we are thinking about, and it will be potentially the next big capability of our solution, because I also see it on myself. I look at all the data, and sometimes I'm also confused in what should I actually do now next. There is so much which could do,
Mm.
and we want to help you in the near future with suggestions to kind of, tell you, hey, this is the biggest opportunity for you right now, because that
Right.
helps you also to make decisions fast. Yeah. But actually, Eduardo, there is one thing, because we haven't touched the content optimization part, and I
That's
think that's
correct.
actually, isn't that your strong suit? Aren't
Well,
you working on something there?
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I own Ranking Superior, so my background is in SEO as well, and I also see. I mean, I've seen a change coming for a long time as well, right? Where people are moving themselves around different platforms. ChatGPT is becoming more and more important for many of us. Long-tail keywords are becoming a thing as well because of ChatGPT. But there is something that hasn't changed. And that is where I feel we should continue putting an effort, which is in making your content unique. So back then, when I was an SEO consultant, one of the biggest challenges was trying to make sure that every article that we published was driven by the experience of the client. So instead of what we have today, which is now even more spammy content online because everyone is using ChatGPT fully to rate content, I still believe that having your input, your insight, uniqueness into the article makes a huge difference in terms of how Google and all these tools pick it up. So yeah, that is one of the tools that we're trying to push, convince people that your uniqueness is still really relevant, and also working with agencies. So we are. I mean, I like all the approach that you guys are taking because it's such an amazing insight that people need to have before they can actually write the content, right? Because
Yes.
understanding where you fall or how your efforts are being displayed in the ranking arena is so critical. Like people write content, they post it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
They continue relying on rankings, and things are changing so much. So I love what Otterly is doing. I think the insights that you can get are so invaluable, um, and it's exactly what you need to continue the strategy. So yeah, love it. But
Thanks.
thanks for asking. Thanks for. I actually don't promote my app here, so you
Yeah, I
give
know.
me
I
a
know.
chance.
I was thinking you should have a background.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate that. Thank you so much. And beyond the strategies that we discussed on ranking, like what you're trying to do with how you recommend to users, like growing through forums, discussions, LinkedIn, is there any particular channel that you guys use, Google Ads or anything like that?
Very important base foundation is that we are not VC backed. Yeah, we specifically decided against this path in the sense of, going in. Oh, we become a unicorn. La 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 la. We don't want that. Yeah, we want to build a cool company. Doesn't mean that we will never get some money, but it will only be reasonable, and it will only go in the direction of building an amazing team. Everyone, one of our competitors, like, they have now 28 million, which is
Wow.
crazy. And
It's
they,
profound.
and yeah, Profound is in the US, but
Peak, I know, yeah, Peak. I met the
Peak,
founder,
yeah.
yeah. Mm.
And I mean, they are going this way. And what
Mm.
they do is, like, they pour money into Google Ads, etc. We
Yeah,
are, of course, also spending, but it's basically
minimal. Yeah, minimal.
we
Right.
have a water can into the ocean. It's like, okay, now we're just
Yeah.
covering a few special topics because that's okay. But
So
basically,
it's more organic, everything that you do. Yeah.
actually, it's positioning.
Mm.
And, well, yeah, one of the biggest challenges, and it's actually one of the last startups that I invested in, is the one that should solve a problem that we all have, and that is attribution. And that gets more
Mhm.
horrible with
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
Where is this lead really coming from is a
We don't know.
question that most people cannot, like, we have half of our traffic is direct,
Mm.
no idea where they're coming from. I mean, we
Wow.
can assume positioning and word of mouth
Yeah.
because we are mentioned everywhere, and then everyone is looking for Otterly, and then yeah,
Right. So let's just slowly go out of the parentheses.
that's it.
Um, so let me ask you a question, Klaus. So, do we have any visibility on how those leads are coming through? Any campaigns that you think have been successful in positioning Otterly as a very strong organic player in the market?
Yeah, good question. So in general, yeah, as you said, we decided actively to not go the huge unicorn VC way. We want to build a great company. We want to have at least a little bit fun on the way, and kind of see what we can build with our, let's say, our own hands, and not just running for or going 200 on the highway, and worrying that if there is a big curve, then you're basically crashing. We want to avoid that. And so far, it's working pretty fine. Of course, in some cases, especially paid ads, yeah, we are just pouring a water can into the ocean. So that's we are just focusing on very specific campaigns where we use it, but the rest, I've never been a huge fan on paid. But what we did, and actually was, first of all, my buddy, my co-founder here, he's pretty big on content marketing. So he's writing really excellent posts, most of them without the help of AI. I have to say, I'm more the AI guy. But I see that if you're purely writing something, and
Yeah.
you said before, your tool is like helping you to write unique content. And I think that's more important than ever, because I see too many that are creating AI
Yeah.
slop. This is the new term. And AI slop will be removed in the future, as it's causing more problems than helping. However, content marketing, and in this case, I have to say it's still SEO organic that helped in the beginning, especially. But we immediately also focused on the contents that are relevant for AI search. So I have to say this is our one of the biggest drivers for us, where people coming from ChatGPT and others are telling us then, oh, I found you while I was researching on LLMs or AI searches,
Oh, yeah.
about the tools. That's great. However, the one is LinkedIn. As we are B2B, we're heavy on writing a lot, sharing a lot. I think it's all about sharing. I could file a lot of patents or kind of hide what I've learned and just use it for us. But we are more open, and we think the space is evolving so fast, and there is so much innovation. And if we don't share openly what we really learned, I think we're all missing out on that. So we're using these channels to kind of share what we've learned, all the campaigns, the experiments. We did, Reddit experiments. We did, as I said, digital PR experiments. I created top lists because I
Mm.
wanted to prove that AI is using top lists heavily, AI search, and I was right. And I mean, we see that, and I also see our articles always like moving upwards in the citation. So I
Wow.
think that content marketing is still great, but you have to kind of navigate what you're writing, what you're publishing, because many of our other blog posts, they get still some organic traffic, but they're not
Mm.
catched up by AI so much. So that's a tricky thing for the future.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, you mentioned something really important. Do you think that platforms like LinkedIn will end up removing all these spammy AI? Literally, I call them ChatGPT feeds because you go into LinkedIn nowadays and you're literally reading like just ChatGPT generated content. Do you think that's gonna happen? That in the future they might remove it?
Okay, I mean, very specifically on LinkedIn, I don't think they will remove it, but they will find some ways to kind of decrease or
Mm.
deprioritize you on the LinkedIn feed, because, garbage in, garbage out, and
Yeah.
LinkedIn is living now, and really did a great job on for me, it's my Instagram and my TikTok. Yeah. So if I read only garbage, and I recently saw that, especially on a B2C context on YouTube, I was looking for a journey to Japan and I was researching there some stuff and I got so much AI generated videos and content that was, blah, yeah, that didn't bring any value. And
Yeah,
I believe that will be punished at a certain point.
yeah.
Right now, it sometimes helps. We see even competitors that are auto-generating a massive amounts of content. We see them how they kind of grow and they
Mm.
grow in ranking and suddenly they drop
Sure.
again. So there are countermeasures against that. If you do it not with a plan and an approach and a kind of a good thought behind it. If you're just
Yes.
opening the floodgates, then yeah, you're destroying more the nature than helping
That's
it
true.
grow.
Sooner or later, they will come hunting you down for all those spammy tactics. I think you were trying to say something else. I don't know if it came to your mind before when you were sharing how you guys try to push content a lot on LinkedIn. Um, is there anything that you wanted to say?
No, I think that that helped us a lot. That was one of our is our still our one of our biggest, also biggest. Actually, our biggest traction channel is direct, which means we don't know, and it's word of mouth.
Word of mouth. That's
So that's
the best marketing.
yeah, yeah. This is why I said start with positioning because you have to be top of mind, but it's not always easy.
Mm.
We were lucky from a timing and a um, right time, right place perspective. But I always say, and what I always liked, focusing on three things, the
Yeah,
three-step concept.
yeah.
Focus on three things. And then when you outgrow them, then move on to the next three things. And I think that's the best approach instead of doing everything and kind of, spreading your efforts all across all campaigns.
I mean, my takeaway here was the whether you are a sock or you are a t-shirt, or I think that's such a good analogy. And I speak to many people who are trying to lift their startups, and sometimes it's hard to understand exactly what they do because they do so many things. Let me ask you this question. I think this is the $10 million question, Klaus. Um, what is the future like? What's gonna happen with, in your opinion, with all the SEO, geo? Like, how do we rank on Google? Where are we- how are we gonna be searching on the internet? Like, the ultimate question is, what should I be doing to safeguard my business for the next 10 years?
Okay. These were two questions. I will
Okay.
answer it with the second one first.
You got
Um,
me.
what should you do to safeguard your business for the next 10 years? So, um, I learned one thing and I was, there is always the future and the future can be frightening and can be also amazing, but most of the time as humans we tend to a little bit like are worrying about the future. So what I learned from my business is I focus on what's really ahead of me and within a range of a year, etc. I rarely focus on what's ahead on 3 years, 5 years, because if you are super right, which you are probably only in 1% or less of the cases, then you're the mastermind and you kind of might be the winner. That winner takes it all. But most of the times you are wrong and you build into the wrong direction. So I'm focusing more on what's ahead of me. Same like with my mountain bike. If I go downhill, I focus on the next 2 to 5 meters and not about what is down there. Otherwise, I crash and I might hurt myself. So this is the first answer. The second is what I see ahead. Now it might get a little bit crazy, but in my head, I fast forward. So the next steps that will happen, I think. I believe that websites, the first step will get junctions. So they are sending you a different kind of content, either if you're human and you will get still the nice websites with all the beach videos and the nice emotions and so on. And if you're an agent, you will get an optimized answer or content, optimized format. But I think that's not enough because for me, that feels if you're presenting an agent, like an agent, I mean the crawlers of AI searches, which will become smart and intelligent. So when they come, I think it's not enough to just give them your website in a nicer text format because this feels a little bit like if I'm at a conference, at a summit, and I leave my booth as a human, as the hopefully smart um, player on for the seller for my product, and I leave it, and I just leave fact sheets at the booth, and then
Yeah.
customers come and they look at the fact sheets and they say, "Oh, that's not fitting my case," and they leave.
Mm.
If the human would have been here, and in this case, this is the example for the website. If the human would be here, they could negotiate and convince them to buy their products. So the same goes for your website. If you're only presenting a text format, I believe that's not enough. So your website will become an agent. That's my first thought.
Wow. Okay.
So it will be able to negotiate with the search agents.
Agent. Okay.
So they will negotiate. They will say, "Oh, yeah, 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 but I have the best pricing for you," or "We have this feature which you haven't thought about. Think about it. That's very important in that case," etc., etc. I actually believe that the website as it is today, with all the websites we have, like the pages we read, this will vanish in the longer future. And we will have AI that is not only summarizing us, but they will pour or get sources. They will have sources where they get the content, and they will answer questions that we have
Mm.
visually or audio. And I think that the web will transform massively in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think it's not so much 10 years, but rather 5 years. Yeah.
Amazing.
Because AI will answer. You see right now, ChatGPT, why are one person in a demo, they said something that was so like, yes, of course. Why haven't I thought about that? And so obvious and it's so clear. And this person said, no one ever searched for blue links, or no one ever wanted to search for blue links.
Mm.
So that means we always wanted to have an answer.
Yeah.
But up until now, Google was only capable of giving us hundreds of blue links, and we had to click through them, we had to read through them. It was super annoying. You want to ask, what is the best electric vehicle for my family with my dog that is, in the price range of la 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 la, and I can maybe buy it with my company, and then you have an answer. Best is if it's only one choice.
Yeah.
And the best is if it buys it for you, kind of registers it for you, and oh yeah, next Monday the car is at your place. You can start driving then.
So if you think so, maybe I didn't get this right, but if you think that pages as we know them might disappear,
Yes.
how do we create that new content that will fit the LLMs?
It's a good question. I was hoping that you will solve that problem.
Oh, no, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I mean, the transition is going very, very rapidly, but um, all these LLM models, like everything, is being powered by data, right? So where obviously video is there, audios, like you mentioned, images will also convey words. But ultimately, when we go into 2030, people will have different questions. Maybe there are new electric cars out there. Maybe there's a new technology. Maybe there is, I don't know, new stuff. And I've always felt like there must be some sort of database somewhere that's holding all this information, feeding the agent that represents my website, which I love that. I never heard that before. I think it's so smart, and selling that to another agent. If pages will not be there, what do you think would be there?
Yeah, I think you're on the right path. That first of all, it's about data. The question is who provides the data, and I have not a fully clear picture. I was thinking about it like on an example of booking.com, yeah, and there it's obvious for me. When we talk about electric cars, it gets a little bit more blurry. So when we talk about booking.com, I don't think that the hotels on the lowest level is not the right terminology, but like the hotels, each individual hotel doesn't have the capacity and the capabilities, the technical ones to provide all I was talking about, like providing their website as a agent and la 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 la. So I believe there will be still accumulators like platforms on top of it that are pulling the data from the hotels, and maybe it might be booking.com or another platform that is actually then providing the connections with all the sources, with all the data below it, that your agent can go to booking.com and can negotiate for a vacation, book it there, book the flights,
Mhm.
etc., etc. So I believe this is this is how also these platforms will have a very good chance to survive. When it comes to electric cars, I'm not so certain. I mean, of course, the car providers are big enough to provide this data, but if it comes to comparison, then the AI has to go to several pages to know all of them. And there might be still also some platforms that are bringing overviews where you can go in and then it kind of directs you. I think might be a chance for a kind of new comparison platforms that are
Hmm.
taking over the main entrance, maybe also connecting other data. I think that's because right now on the websites, yes, sometimes there is data behind it, but as it is public, it also they don't like to connect very sensible data there. However, for the agents, as they might know what to use and how to use, maybe they use the data, but they don't show it to you.
Yeah.
They might even connect to more kind of data. I don't know. Yeah, maybe your where you live and what your company, what type of company you have, so they can connect to
Mhm.
the company register and they look it up and say, okay, your company is limited, so you can have these options and we can
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you
yeah.
that. So, but that's a
That's
little bit.
true. I mean, there's so many opportunities. Like even my phone is connecting sometimes. I don't know. I got the iPhone now, and sometimes I don't do anything, and Siri is listening to me. I don't know if that data is actually being used for LLM models.
Yeah.
Maybe, like you said, there are so many other ways of getting data points.
Yes.
Last and final question, Klaus, before I say thank you so much for being here. Given all the experience that you have for over 25 years, can you please share your two ultimate pieces of advice for anyone starting a business
Mhm.
or entering the startup arena?
Okay. Very good question. So I think the first one that immediately pops into my mind, I once owned the domains called founderclash.com.
Okay.
You can assume why I had that. So I think that for any business that you're starting, it's like a marriage, and you should carefully consider with whom you get married in a business wise. So I think that your founding team is super essential, and you should be sure with whom you like spend more time than maybe with your family. That's the one thing, which also then doubles down to the team below, or
Mm.
below the team
Yeah.
that you're having. So if you have a good team, better have a B product and an A team than an
Mhm.
A product on
On
the
the
B
B
team.
team. I
Yeah,
love
but
that.
that
Yeah.
that starts with the founding teams. Yeah, I've
Mm.
seen so many clashes. I had some of my own, where kind of the founders almost destroyed the company because they kind of didn't go along. When everything goes up, everything is always honeymoon phase, but
Yeah.
when it goes down, then it gets really tricky and yeah. So that's the first advice. The second, I actually would say that is that what we have already talked about, and we talked a lot about positioning today.
Mm.
So and when I'm talking and it sounds like I know everything, but I know it because I have all the scars from going through the wrong ways. I went through the bushes where I got, a lot of scratches and scars from that. So what I mean with that is positioning. I started many companies by just building something. Oh, I have this idea that would be great for customers. Oh, I build it, and then you go out and you sell it, and then suddenly it says, no, not in that way. Sounds nice, but so having said that, I believe you should be clear on what you want to do. Start with customer research, go out, talk to customers, double down on the problem, then define your where you want to be. Don't be all over the place. Try to be rather specific, make it simple. People understand simple better than complex. And then start building and then start evaluating and redo that process from time to time. Yeah, we are also in that phase. We're in this crazy wave, but if you're not sometimes going out of the wave, sitting there just observing the wave, I think you will drown
Yeah.
because at a certain point you make a mistake. Yeah, and it's better to sometimes stop and rethink where am I positioned? Am I at the right place? I think these are my two advices I would give.
Love it. So, and have a good team, like you said, make sure you have the right founders.
Yes.
18 better than an A product.
Yeah.
Amazing, Klaus. I mean, thank you so much. I think it has been very insightful. I know we've spoken about so many things, but It's a great opportunity to have you here, and I just wanted to make sure that we shared as much value as possible. Everyone, if you want to track your AI citations, I think Otterly it's a really nice player. They're growing organically. They have an amazing team. I met you guys in Brighton SEO. You make a really nice team, and especially how you work, making sure that you stay on top of things, you iterate fast, you're open to feedback. It's something that truly speaks by itself. And I would like to wish you all the best for you and the team into 2026. And I hope to see you in Brighton SEO next year. I don't know if you guys are gonna go, but I'll be there in April.
I guess yes, and Eduardo, it's also for me an important thing to say thanks for doing this. Sharing knowledge. It's also I know how much work it is to kind of create that and share it afterwards, and I also want to tell you that it's well appreciated to also help others without getting paid, and so thanks a lot for having me here and
Pleasure. Thank you
sharing
so
that.
much. Thank you, Klaus. Bye. Thank you.